Against this right back, Charlie.
There's always just that active red line defenders. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
Like the big man Ian Wright just said there, people deluded, I'm back again. As usual, to my returning viewers, appreciative to have you here, and I appreciate you new ones. Do me a favor, hit the like button, turn on your notification bells, and don't forget to subscribe. And, you know, start the process of letting the creative juices flow in, people. I'm sure everything that we cover, you lot have a bag of things and opinions. Let me know them either when this video premieres or in the comment section after. Now, I was reading the Daily Mail, and this article kind of spoke about a bunch of stuff Arsenal, especially in relation to us drawing against Porto. If I scroll down, people, it kind of gave an insight. Well, not really an insight, because at the end of the day, no one official from Arsenal has come out and spoken. But in relation to Arsenal's news, let's see exactly what was said. Again, as I said, skipping to the main body of the work, people. Apparently, their interest in centre forward Ivan Toney is no secret, but splashing around 80 million on the Brentford striker just months after spending close to 200 million on Havertz, Rice, Jurgen Timber, and David Raya is likely to be too tall of an order. As we know, our priorities are probably in central midfield and defense in January. If there's a deal to be done for a striker, who would be against it? But that's probably a big ticket striker, maybe a higher caliber of another midfielder, because it's not a case of one and done for me in the center of the park. We need to add on the quality of Declan Rice, probably on the agenda of summer. Probably the same could be said of a number 2 keeper. You'd imagine Ramsdale leaves in the summer. You never know in football. That's not to say another marquee signing is out of reach, but whether they add to their squad is likely to depend on recouping money from outgoings. Mail Sport understands that Arsenal are currently telling prospective buyers that they aren't open for business, but there's a feeling among Premier League clubs that their stance is more posturing rather than a hard and fast rule. And that's for everybody. You know, everybody doesn't really want to sell people in January beyond the obvious. You make offers that Arsenal can't turn down. You know, the money they get in, they might be able to do some things in the market that wasn't possible. For me, I think we need signings. I want a striker. I want a winger. We need to keep our eyes open for potentially a number 2 keeper. But in terms of me, I would say the spine of the team, indirectly a high ticket striker, goals win games, turns defeats into draws, turns some draws into W's, ultimately more 3 points on the board. Personally, I think we're playing a dangerous game in the middle of the park, really, and I don't know when the Champions League comes back in February, and obviously this period, what is going to be said there. We know we've been coping with injuries since August, and for me, I think we need another defensive body. Scrolling all the way down, among the players attracting interest is Eddie Nketiah, who, given his status as an academy product, would be registered as pure profit in terms of FFP accountancy. I don't know if he'll leave in January, but you'd imagine Eddie Nketiah. I think he's a good squad player. I think he's given a hard rep by some fans. But, you know, obviously, if we sign another striker, Gabriel Jesus will become more of a rotationary striker and able to play out wide. The striker will be the top don. Eddie Nketiah has done well, developed, been a good member of the squad, living the dream. But he could be someone to shed the wages, make profit, make 100% profit. And ultimately, you know, game time is already scarce to a degree for Eddie Nketiah. He's shown he can come in and deputize for Jesus and to a degree keep him out of the side, but you'd imagine his spot would be up for grabs. Whether it's a striker, attacking midfielder, or a winger, there's only a certain amount of you that can start the game and also play. And I like Eddie, you know, but unless he develops dramatically, then this is just where the team is going. And he has been linked with Crystal Palace and Brentford, allegedly, you know, sparking the rumours of maybe a potential, you know, swap or money plus cash deal for Ivan Toney. I think that sort of stuff is for the summer. I wouldn't advocate letting Eddie Nketiah go in January unless you're bringing in another forward, because we've seen we need bodies, and I think he does have a part to play. However, the club have already knocked back at least one inquiry from a top-flight side ahead of the transfer window for Nketiah. Ramsdale is another one being courted, but Arsenal would prefer the England international to stay at least until the end of the season. With a place in Gareth Southgate's European Championship squad at stake, Ramsdale knows another 5 months spent on the bench after losing his number 1 spot to Raya could cost him his seat on the plane to Germany. But unless Ramsdale is willing to agitate. Arsenal would rather park that situation until the summer. There is recognition that signing a goal scorer next month could make a difference in their quest for glory, but signing strikers is easier in the summer. Ivan Toney isn't the only striker being monitored. Victor Osimhen, who last week signed a new contract at Napoli with a £112 million release clause, is among those being coveted. Aston Villa striker Ollie Watkins is another. Ollie Watkins is going to cost big money. Victor Osimhen is going to cost money. Ivan Toney, obviously, with his contract running down and where he's at, that's probably a market opportunity. I actually think Ollie Watkins is held in higher regards at Arsenal, but he's at Villa, he's under big contract, and he's going to cost money, you know. Obviously, Harry Kane is going to be on the plane, you know, and Rashford and Sterling, potentially, Southgate likes to count them as forwards. But where you look at Ivan Toney, Ollie Watkins, Callum Wilson, it seems like they're all vying for one spot, really. And I know Ivan Toney's been capped, but it seems like Ollie Watkins is the guy. And he was a boyhood Arsenal fan. I like Ollie Watkins a lot, man. I think, obviously, we need a guy that's going to score goals. He can do that, but I don't think his general play is given enough credit. Apparently, by the way, Partey's been linked with Barcelona. The highly anticipated return to fitness of Partey could reduce the necessity to sign a midfielder next month, but we know with Partey and injuries, but injury problems have plagued the 30-year-old since his arrival in 2020, have cast doubt over his long-term future at Arsenal. Arsenal already planning for life without Partey, whose contract expires in 18 months. Aston Villa midfielders Douglas Luiz and Jacob Ramsey are highly rated by the recruitment staff. Fulham's João Paulinho is another one who is under consideration, but at 28, his profile doesn't fit the club's recruitment strategy. Everton's Ahamadou Onana is being watched closely. We have been linked with him before he signed for Everton and throughout his career there. There is no doubt in Partey's brilliance. His ability to carry and receive the ball in tight spaces is crucial to Arteta's ethos, but his lack of availability, he has played 5 times this season, has become a source of frustration, although he may be back before the end of the year. But for how long? Because him and Tomiyasu is ironically injured as well, and he needs to get over his injury stuff, you know, are going to miss a month of football close to it when they go off to the Africa Cup of Nations and the Asia Cup, respectively, people. So, yeah, we all know Timber, Fabio Vieira and Tomiyasu are all nursing injuries. Hopefully they're back sooner rather than later. Raya is speaking about his battle with Aaron Ramsdale for the goalkeeper and spot people. And the man himself has said, of course, and I think I have made him a better keeper. I think the battle, I wouldn't say battle, is just pushing each other in training, trying to help each other. If we see with each other when we are training that we can help each other, that's how we are, that's how we do. That's the goalkeeper union that from the outside that you see. He's a top goalkeeper and a top teammate. I hope he can say the same about me. We are teammates, we are fighting for one position. Then he said, of course, it's a massive game of any of the top teams playing against Liverpool away from home. I think comparing the last time I played there with Brentford and what we are going to face on Saturday is completely different. I think obviously they, in brackets, the fans will be more on top of us now, especially as we're fighting to be on top of the Premier League, people. He then said it's going to be very, very important, but we don't have to focus on the atmosphere. We have to focus on ourselves and the football match and win the football match. Fair enough, really and truly. I think you're right. You're right in that regards, people. Big him up on that. Apparently, Douglas Luiz to Arsenal is being parked off until potentially the summer. I'm very pessimistic on that, but he's been linked with Arsenal historically, Liverpool and City in recent weeks and months. Arsenal are set to push to land Douglas Luiz next summer, sources have told Football Insider. Apparently, he's our number 1 target for 2024. Allegedly, a well-placed source has told Football Insider that a January swoop for the Brazil international looks impossible, with Villa set to ask for around 100 million for his signature. Of course, he's a key part of their season. I do think they'll push for 65, 70 odd million in the summer, depending on where Arsenal view him. That could be good value for money. We all know we've been linked with João Paulinho as well. We've been linked with Douglas Luiz aggressively. Allegedly, Paulo Javier, who apparently is a Real Madrid Latin America scout. Apparently, he's left Real Madrid, a post he has held since 2017 to become an Arsenal scout, people. Apparently, he's a highly rated chief scout at highly rated scout at Real Madrid. Bring him to the carpet, people. Apparently, he's worked with Edu at the Brazilian Football Confederation. So yeah, people, and we've been looking to utilize those markets. So yeah, if we could get Endrick, of Vinicius Junior, of Valverde, obviously work permits go against the British clubs, but if we can get the players of tomorrow and either they progress to the first team or we turn players from £3 million players into 30, that's sold and reinvested. Everyone's a winner chicken dinner. So welcome to the carpet in that regard. Once again, we've been linked with Fabio Ruiz, people, and again, those rumors won't go away. I won't bore you with saying the same things in relation to the 25-year-old. Allegedly, going back on the Ivan Toney stuff, Arsenal is said to be fully aware of the desire of Ivan Toney to seal off a transfer move to the Emirates, according to Fabrizio Romano. Of course, Arsenal are aware of Ivan Toney's stance. It's not about him telling Arsenal that he wants to to join, but of course they know the player would like to join. But there's still the price tag issue, as we said many times. Also, Toney has always been very respectful to Brentford, so it depends on the clubs reaching an agreement. There was even rumours that we're seeking to get him on loan. So yeah, in short, people have been linked with Jacob Ramsey, Douglas Luiz, Paulinho, Onana of Everton. You know, I think one consistency is we've been linked with all of them, been linked with Osman, Ivan, Toney, and etc. people. So we'll have to see. The thing I like the most is that there's allegedly a recognition at Arsenal that signing a goal scorer could be the difference between, you know, achieving stuff and not achieving stuff this season. Now, obviously, it doesn't just come down to goals, but it would help. And it's a bit weird because I do think we're able to break down low blocks now. We're getting a bit of joy in that. The goals are spreaded, but we don't have a lot of confirmation. Martinelli and Odegaard haven't really got their shooting boots on this year, as much as they've been playing well. Jesus is a great player. Goal scoring is not necessarily a strength of his. Saka's obviously doing the business in that, but another goal scorer, proven goal scorer, would take us to the next level, in my opinion. Andre, who was once linked with Arsenal, Fulham, and Liverpool. I watched the Premier League, and it's a big dream to play there one day. I'm focused on finishing the season with Fluminense and realizing our own dream of winning the Club World Cup. But my dream is clear, to be a Premier League player. So you'd imagine he's someone that could depart his current club and be in these shores next month. You know, from one transfer to another, Partey's been linked with Barcelona. Thomas Partey is one of the names that could fit in at Barcelona until the end of the season to compensate for Gavi's loss. Arsenal want to sell him in January. Barcelona going to take him, you know, with their FFP stuff quite peculiar. Are they going to take him, you know, give us a decent transfer fee, give him a decent wage and a decent length of contract for essentially a season? I'm not sure, but that's what Mundo Deportivo are saying, people. So yeah, man, we've seen everything with Jacob Ramsey, Onana, Osimhen, Toney, and everything else we've discussed. We've got a new scout joining the club. So yeah, people, let me know your thoughts on everything we've discussed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. One love.
So it's always just that active and that defending. I think it's like